Hi, hello. Guys, I have finished like 4 shows within the last like couple weeks. I am on a roll. Okay, but that also comes from not finishing shows for like a very, very long time. So this is new. Um it's kind of interesting because okay, so and I feel like I've talked about this before. When I first started watching K-dramas, I was very how do I explain it? Like very like determined to finish shows regardless. I was like, I have to finish these shows. I have to do these things. Sorry, I'm trying to like actually look at the camera instead. It's really hard because I want to talk to me, the face that I see, not just this tiny little camera over here. Anyways, we'll see if I can do it. I feel like it'll be like looking into your soul, so I feel like it's kind of creepy. Anyways, so I tried to like finish shows. It was like a big thing. Like I had shows where I would go back and I would try to finish them. I had shows where I like it took me a long time, but I was like, I have to finish this show, whatever, right? Well, then I started watching a lot more and I was like, I don't care. And I've tried to not be such a show dropper, but over the last like I want to say like year maybe, with a lot of the recent drama releases, I have just been dropping shows left and right. Like I've gotten to the point where I'll start a show and I get like 2 episodes in and I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm sick. I'm over it. I don't want to do it. And it's like I think it's because there's just so many common tropes in K-dramas, and when you've watched as many as I have, upwards in the close to 200s, it's getting kind of old. And it's hard to find a fresh new perspective on a K-drama because the very foundation of them is tropey, like, and is tropes and is stereotypical things, and the same thing kind of done in a slightly different, in a slightly different way. And it gets a little taxing when you've seen a lot. If you've only watched like 5, you're like, oh, is this? But it's like if you've watched 100, you're like, okay, I don't care. So it's hard to like, I don't know. It's hard sometimes to stay engaged with these shows because I'm just like, girl, I'm over it. Like, I'm over it. But anyways, so I hadn't really finished any shows recently, and I had been very like, I don't know, just wishy-washy and like not really finishing stuff. And I think I made a video about this show because it actually bothered me so much, and I was like, I don't know why no one else is talking about this plot being kind of problematic. But it was called Crazy Love. Guys, I tried so hard. I tried so hard to like that show. I watched like a solid, like, I think I watched like 10 episodes. It was like a 16 episode show. Excuse me, I like choked. I tried. Have you guys seen Maze Runner? And specifically the third one, when Teresa is like right at the end of the movie when she's holding Thomas and they're like bloody and injured and like dying and there's fire and they're gonna die. They're sweating and they're like crying and she's going, I tried. Anyways, I always thought the way she said that was so weird. Like, I think it's because she's British and it was like in a moment of intense emotion, like her accent was not her like American accent was not like the way she would pronounce her words. Oh my gosh, isn't she? No, she's not British. Okay, I almost for a second thought she actually did have her accent in the movies, and I was like, what? No, she doesn't. And I actually really don't like her American accent because I think her with the way she talks normally in her British accent is way better. And she can convey lines a lot better in that series. I have mixed feelings about the actress that plays Teresa. Not like I don't even like Teresa anyways as a character, and I don't have any problem with Kaya. I think she's great, and I also think she got a lot of hate for being in that series for some reason. Like, people really didn't like her. I guess I shouldn't say I have mixed feelings. That's not what I mean. Like, I have about her certain parts of her acting because you can tell her accent is trying to come out, and she's not hiding it very well. Kind of same vibe of like, I feel like Theo James does okay in Divergent, but he's also British in real life, so it's like, you can just tell usually when they're British and you can kind of hear it. Although I have been, this is such a random tangent. I have been surprised sometimes watching a show where there's like a person who has an accent and you're like, yeah. And then you hear them in real life. You're like, oh my gosh, you know who does a pretty good take on an accent? He's pretty good at it. In The Pit, Whitaker, he's British in real life. And he does a pretty decent American I think he's supposed to be from, like, where's he supposed to be from? Like, Nebraska or something? I don't know what people from Nebraska sound like. Sorry, not cultured. I don't remember. Also, I don't think it's Nebraska. I don't know where he's from. I can't remember. He's just a little farm boy. But he does a pretty good, he does like a pretty solid American accent. I feel like sometimes certain words he enunciates a little weird, but like for the most part, I feel like that you could just throw that being like, oh, that's just how Whitaker says words, rather than it being like, oh, he's trying to hide an accent. All of that to say, Kaya's great. She's fine. I have no beef with this actress. I don't know why I made it seem like I do. I genuinely don't. I just think some of the way she says words is a little funny in the movie. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. How did I get on that? Oh, because I said, I tried. Anyways, okay, so, yes, I put my best foot forward. I tried to finish the show. I tried so hard, and I just couldn't do it. I was like, when you are watching a show, and you get to the point where you only like one character in the whole show, and you don't care about anyone else, it's hard to complete, and that was how I felt with that, where I was just like, I only really liked the female lead, because she was the only one who I was like, okay, you're kind of like enjoyable to watch. I didn't like the male lead. Ooh. I didn't like him. I think he's toxic, and I think he got away with way too much, and he was kind of weird, and oh my gosh, he has trauma. Talking about, girl, I don't care. Grow up. You're like 34. Like, be a man. Like, grow up and like go to therapy and deal with your trauma. Like, when I say like, oh my gosh, you can't have a traumatized past, like grow up, be a man, I don't mean it in the way of like, oh my gosh, men can't have feelings. I mean it in the way of like, go to therapy then and get your unresolved trauma dealt with. Like, go and talk to somebody about it. He's just like whining about it, but not doing anything. He's not trying to help himself. He's just like, oh my gosh, trauma, I can't talk about it. It's like, girl, you're ruining your relationships. What is going on with that? You know, I might put my hat on here. I'm wearing this hat. Oh, I have to talk about that too. But I have to talk about my shows first. Then I'll talk about this hat and why it's specifically, look at my ears, why it's very distressed, and why I bought a tan hat, because that's not really a color I would have bought. I feel goofy because the bill is really aggressive. So maybe I'll just go, you can see my forehead. That's not any better. Whatever. You know what? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Judge Judy. She's so real. Okay. So, back to the thing I was actually trying to make a video about. The first show that I completed on my list is Bloodhounds Season 2. Now, okay, so where do I start? Good season. Felt like a lead up for Season 3. Felt like not a lot happened, but it was for Season 3. There was also a lot of commentary about the fact that Woojin, one of the main characters of the show, was weak. And everyone was like, he was so weak, and he was so sad, and he was so this, all this. And here's the thing. I saw someone comment about this, and this was such an interesting mindset to have, because I feel like it explained exactly what was happening in the show. In the first season, Woojin and Gunwoo are fighting while, you know, big, scary guys who are trained to a certain extent. They're not fighting professional, like, mercenaries and these people that are bodyguards and have, like, probably, like, martial arts whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? Background. And in the second season, they're fighting these, like, professional people that they don't have that same level. And another person said that Woojin, because a lot of people, I kind of was of the same opinion a little bit, because it was like, dang, he kind of not doing anything this season. Also, the boys were separated so much in Season 2. Not a fan of that. I didn't like that they weren't together a lot of the show. I was like, I want to see them together. They're best friends and they love each other. Why are they separated? That's a separate thing. But like a lot of things with Woojin, like he gets a really, really bad hand injury pretty early on in the first part of the show. And so then he can't really fight for a lot of the show because his hand is like, he essentially like someone, it was really bad. Anyways, it was horrible. So he was kind of not able to do anything. And also him and Gunwoo both in the show cried so much, which I have no problem with, because I'm like, it's really sad when they cry. They're both really good criers. So it's like, oh my gosh, my babies. Like, I feel for them when I watch them. But they both were like really emotional in this season. And I think it was very evident that the last season and everything they went through, because it's been like, I think it was supposed to be like 4 or 5 years between the first and second season. like they've been through a lot, and to like have to re-deal with all these things and like all the people they lost in season one, it was just like really weighed obviously incredibly heavy on all of them, especially Gunwoo, and he really blamed himself for pretty much every freaking thing, which was so annoying too, because I was like, babe, it's not your fault. He's a psychopath and he wants to kill you. Like, that's not your fault. So that was like a separate thing of like, he just blamed himself for literally everything. And so did Woojin. They both blamed themselves for all these things that were totally out of their control and they couldn't have done anything about. So that was like kind of annoying, because I was like, babe, it's not your fault. Also, Gunwoo had like the saddest eyes. Woo Do-han has like, his eye acting is just unparalleled. Like, he is so good at eye acting, but he's really good at like sad. I hesitate to use the word doe eyes because people were using that a little too liberally before, but like, that man has doe eyes. Like, he's got big Bambi, big, huge brown eyes that make you go, I gotta fix it for him. That's how I felt. I was just like, let me fix you. I will give you a hug. Come here. I need to fix this for you. That's just the feelings he evoked for me. I just can't help it. I also love him. And I love Lee Sang-yi, who plays Woojin, obviously, as well. He's so underrated. Oh my underrated actors. I just think they're so good, and they deserve their flowers. They deserve applause. And I'm like, why is nobody talking about these boys? Anyways, boys being full-grown men in their 30s. Anyways. So yeah, a lot of like, oh, Woojin is so, weak and all these things. But it's like, here's the thing. Also, I saw, this was the comment I was going to talk about. Someone said, they're like, it's been like 5 years since he's fought. Like, he has not kept up, like, fighting. Like, where Gunwoo was still, like, boxing pretty consistently, because that was, like, his, like, thing he was doing. Woojin was, like, his coach, so he wasn't boxing. And, in fact, even in season 1, he stopped boxing to train Gunwoo. And, like, he obviously did box at that time. He was still, like, it was still, like, it was still relevant for him. But even in season 2, when he hadn't boxed in a while, boy was still doing a good job. They were just fighting people that were 10 times more experienced and more lethal than they are. And that's fine, because it's like they're supposed to be underdogs. That's the whole vibe of the show. So it was fine. Anyways, overall, I liked season 2. It did feel like I said, a setup for season 3, because they hinted at a season 3 at the end. I'm pretty sure they're going to make another season. I hope it doesn't take another 3 years, though, because I didn't realize it had been 3 years since the first. And I'm like, I'd like to see some... Okay. There was some stuff, too, that happened that I was like, hey, can we get a little bit more coverage on that? So there's a character from season 1. We do not see him die in season 1, but it is heavily implied that he died. It seems pretty unlikely he would have been able to escape from the situation he was in. And it was like him against like not hundreds. It was like him against like 20 other men. And he was like, they had like come into his house and he was like locked up in his bedroom trying to like, it was a whole thing. It was like, there's no way he's going to survive. Well, it turns out he did survive, and he's in season 2, which is great because we get to see him again. We get this really beautiful reunion between the 3 boys, because he was like one of their guys from season 1 that they were like so sad that had died, and it was like this whole thing. And he was like super ashamed because he had become a bloodhound. So he basically become a paid mercenary during that time to like survive. And so he was like, oh, I felt so ashamed. But it worked out that he had an in with the mercenaries because they were kind of like a part of the overarching evil plot, whatever. And so he was like, oh, I was so ashamed. I didn't want to see you guys. And they were like, oh my gosh, we're so happy you're alive. And then in the end of season 2, it hints that he maybe died again. So I'm like, it doesn't show us him dead, but it shows him like bleeding out. And you're like, hey, and he's all by himself. I'm like, you could have told someone, babe. You could have said, hey, got stabbed in the stomach. Hey, I need help. Because there's this final fight. Anyways, he got stabbed in the stomach. It was a whole thing. And so, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that because I'm like, why are they leaving it on? And then they didn't acknowledge it. No one talked about him in the end of the show. And I was like, so where is he? Is he dead? Did he die? Is he alive? Like, you cannot tell me that you brought him back just to kill him. Especially because he has a wife and a daughter, and that was, like, a big part in season 1 because his wife was pregnant. And that was the other thing that was like, oh my gosh, and he died and his wife was pregnant. It's like, no, he didn't. And then you're going to bring him back to kill him again. Anyways. Okay. Villains sexy in this show. And that's just a fact, unfortunately. Season 1. Was that, like, 60-year-old man kind of hot? Did I find him kind of sexy? Yeah. What about it? What about it? There was a lot of hot, sexy older men in season 1. There was a lot of younger, sexy men in season 2. Rain, who is an idol and a longtime idol, and also he has acted in a few shows and movies and stuff. He was the villain in the show. He did a good job. I think he was a good villain. I think it was funny because he kind of didn't do that much at times, where he'd just get mad at his like little workers all the time for like not listening to him. And it was like, bro, you just do it yourself then if you're so like whatever. He was a very volatile like villain. It was fine. That fit the character. It made sense. Chansung from 2PM was in it as well. And I loved him. I actually really like him. Like so in 2PM he's not my bias by any means. Junho is my bias 100%. There will be no other man for me but Junho. That is just a fact. And I really like Taekyung as well from 2PM. And I've seen Chansung and I was like, yeah, he's cute. Like whatever. He was good at this show. And I've seen him in other shows too, but he always plays a villain. But this was the only, ironically enough, this was the only villain character he played that I liked, because every other time he's kind of a douche. So I was like, actually like, okay, you're like a bad guy, but he had a daughter, guys, and then he died. It was so sad. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, the biggest thing about season 2 was the end of season 2, because like I said, they were hinting at a season 3. Well, guess who? My husband, the love of my literal life, Park Seo-joon. Anyways, sorry, I'm chill. Anyways, he popped in as a villain, so he's gonna be in season 3, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw up, because you're gonna tell me I'm supposed to hate Park Seo-joon? You're gonna tell me that I'm not supposed to love him and want to make out with him all the time? Anyways, so that was very exciting to see my, like, 37-year-old husband. He's so old, guys. He's almost 40. Ugh, he's so sexy, though. I love him so much. I mean, he's like 10 years older than me. That's not fun. I think he just turned 37, maybe 38. I don't remember. Anyways, so overall, I just spent so much time talking about one show, and I still have 3 more to talk about. Anyways, it's a good show. I liked it. It was hot. Everyone was sexy. I wanted the boys to hug more. There were some moments where I was like, so this would be a great time to hug, and they didn't, and I was so upset. So otherwise, I liked it. Okay, so now this is an anime that I finished, and I've been watching this show for a while. So there's 2 seasons technically, and they're making a season 3, but it's a season 3 part 1, and then they're making a movie, and then they're making season 3 part 2. I have no idea. Animes are weird. They put movies out that's like, I don't know if it's like a news story per se, or just like in the accumulation of the stories, just like in a movie format, like 2 hours or something. I don't know. I don't really understand the format, why they do that, but whatever. So I just finished season 2, and season 3 part 1 comes out in October of this year. So part of the reason I waited so long to finish it was because I was watching a lot of other shows, but also because I was like, well, I'll just wait, because I didn't know when season 3 was going to come out when I was watching season 2. And they confirmed that it was October, so. Okay, so this show's called Apothecary Diaries. It is one of my, granted, I haven't watched enough animes to have a true opinion about animes, but I think this is one of the better animes that exists. It is so funny. It is so interesting. The plot is so fun. The characters are so fun to follow. Like, you love all the characters. You love following all of them. What are they doing? Mao Mao is the female, like, lead. She's the protagonist. And then Jinshi is her love interest, who, it's so funny because there's like such an interesting, like, their dynamic is very interesting, because she mostly is pretty disgusted by him, especially in the beginning. He's one of those characters where he's supposed to be like the most beautiful man ever. It's acknowledged amongst every single character that he is beautiful, and he is like so charming and so gorgeous, and she's over here like, not a fan, but not in the way of like, I don't like you. Not like that. Like, she genuinely does not care. She's like, like, when he's like does his cute little like smiles and like tries to like charm people, she's like, like, gross. And again, I say that saying it's not, I feel like it sounds like it could be a really annoying like trope of like, it's only her, but it's like, no, Mao Mao is just, you have to watch the show to get her character, but she's my favorite female character maybe ever. She's so funny, and she's so weird, and she's so like, she's so deadpan, but in the most like endearing, funny way possible. And so she's basically the plot of the show is that she is an apothecary. She works with her dad, who's like works with like herbs, and he's like the healer, I guess. I don't exactly know the direct. It's apothecary is like one of those words where I know what it means, sort of, but I also kind of don't at the same time. Anyways, she gets kidnapped. That happens literally in the first episode. So she gets kidnapped and brought to the palace, and she basically is forced to become a servant. But while she's there, she ends up getting connected with a lot of the women of the palace, like the concubines and stuff, and she ends up helping them with cases. She basically just ends up solving all these mysterious cases with the help of Jinshi as well. And then obviously his lineage is revealed at a certain point, because this is like a historical anime. And there's so much in like entangled bits between him and her and their families, of like, her dad is this person who knows this person, whose son is this person, and his dad is not actually this person we thought, but is actually this person, and his mom is this person, and there's just like a ton, because also a big part of the show is that the former emperor who had died previously was a total pervert and like pedophile, and had a lot of wives, and a lot of really young wives, if you catch my drift. Freak, we hate him. Frick you, bro. He sucks. He's gross, and we were happy when he died, because he's nasty. But that also plays a big part into the show, because there's a lot of characters that either hate him or have some vendetta or did things because they were trying to like get in revenge for whatever. It's just a lot of stuff. And obviously there's a lot of other characters, and a lot of them I really like. There's some characters where I'm like, don't vibe with you at all. But anyways, show's really good. Their relationship progresses extremely slowly, as in we're into season 2 and they haven't even, I mean, he's like down bad for her. Like, he's in love with Mao Mao perfectly. She expresses her affection very differently, and a lot of the criticism that Mao Mao receives is that she does not like Jinshi the same way, and they're like, she doesn't even care about him. Like, there's no connection. She doesn't care, whatever. She does, but just in a very like, because obviously obviously it's based on a manga series, and in the manga, I guess it's a lot more like, I think it's maybe a little more clear about like how Mao Mao feels and like how she expresses those feelings. Because again, she's very like even keel. She's very like not nonchalant, and not a weird way. Like, she just doesn't care, like in a very obvious way, the way he does. So it's like it's much more subtle. And she also, it is funny because people point out, they're like, Girlie talks about how beautiful he is all the time. As much as she's like, ew, when he's like trying to be like, oh, Charming, she's like, she literally on the daily talks about how beautiful he is, and like, oh, he looks better like this, or he looks more like, he's acting more like his age here, or like different things. Because that's another thing, is like, Mao Mao is 18, I think, when the like whole story starts, and Jinshi's character, this person he's portraying, is supposed to be like 20 something, but he's actually like 19 in real life, because he's hiding his true identity, because he's like, it's hard to explain. Anyways, overall, amazing show. The music is really fun. The side characters are really fun. There's this one side character, I can't remember her name. Oh, what is her name? She has like the most adorable voice ever. And that's another thing I really like about Mao Mao, is her voice is so, she does not talk in that like high-pitched childlike like vibe that a lot of animes have, that I cannot watch when the female lead has that voice, because I'm like, that's a kid, this is weird, do not try it. And then if there's like a height difference, or there's like what feels like an age, I can't do it. And that was why I actually dropped this one really popular anime that was like, had come out on Netflix. I couldn't do it. She sounded like a 5-year-old, and it didn't help that she was supposed to be like 4'2", and he's like 8 feet tall. They're like this, and I'm like, this feels weird. I could not get into that show. I tried so hard, because I really liked the main, like the guy in that show. I really liked his character, but I was like, girl, I can't get on your side. You're grossing me out. Anyways, I just couldn't do it. Anyways, this show though, great. Can't wait for season 3. I love it. It's so good. Okay. Oh boy, I'm already at 24 minutes. Okay. My second to last show is called Pursuit of Jade. Buckle in. I've got feelings. This show, oh my gosh, is so good. Okay. I've talked about this a few times in my videos while I've been watching it, because it's 40 episodes, so it's a long show. It is a Chinese historical drama about this girl. Her name is Cheng Yu, and she is the daughter of a butcher. She lives in the village, this like village town with her sister, her younger sister, and her house is adjoined with her 2 neighbors. Her parents died, I think it was supposed to be like not even a year prior. It's like a couple months or something, which I didn't realize it was supposed to be so short. Parents died, killed by bandits, so she's just trying to survive. She takes up her dad's profession. She's very strong. That's a big part of her character. She's tiny. She's like 5'2", but she's very strong because she's a butcher's daughter, and that's her, like I said, that's what she does. So that does play a part in how strong she is, which is so funny because she's tiny. So it's so funny to watch her be strong. And she's also just like a really good, she's really good at like martial arts. Girly can defend herself. And one of my favorite things about her, she is so independent, but not in an annoying way. There's a difference between a character, a strong female character, and like an annoying female character that's supposed to be strong. Because there's a character that's like genuinely strong, but can also accept help when they need help, or can accept a man just being there to like help them, but not in the way of like, oh, I can't do anything myself. Oh, I'm so weak. I can't do anything. Oh, help me, help me, help me. Not like that. Like in a way of like, we're both strong and we are both equal. But I do sometimes just need a hug. And it's like, girl, me too. And then there's the other kind of character that says they're strong, but just whines all the time and is really annoying and is actually not very strong at all. And they just pretend, and they have so much arrogance and pride that they can't admit that they need help. That is not Cheng Yu, thank God, because she's so fun. She's so funny too. Like the actress is so cutie. Oh my gosh, her face is this big. Like she's like one of the prettiest women I've ever seen. And her man, guys. So basically what happens, this happens within like the first episode. She's coming home one day and she stumbles upon a man buried in the snow. And she's like, oh my gosh, is he dead? And she runs away because she's like, I'm sorry. And she turns back, she's like, oh, I gotta go check. So she goes and checks, he's alive. Girly Pop carries him, which is another thing that's like funny because again, he's like 6'2" and she's carrying him. It's funny. She brings it back. Her neighbor, Mr. Zhao, who is her, I almost just said her neighbor. I literally said that's her neighbor. He's worked, I think he's a veterinarian, but she's like, you can help save this guy, right? And so anyways, they nurse him back to health. He wakes up, whatever. So I'll say this just to preface. He's hiding his identity. This is a big thing. He's like this super high up in command general guy, but he just says because the reason he doesn't tell his identity initially is because he is thought to be dead. His like high position, he's the Marquis, I think is how you say it. He's this like high up guy and they think he died and he's trying to figure out who killed him and he doesn't want to put these people in danger, but he also, kind of has to be smart of like, I don't think these people are going to hurt me, but like, I gotta play my cards right. So he hides his identity, goes by a different name. Her uncle, Cheng Yu's uncle, is trying to steal her house away from her to sell off because he has debts from gambling, so he wants to use her house deed, her like title deed to like sell off and use that to like sell off his like pay off his debt. So he's trying to take the house away from her. So what she does instead is she brings up marrying the guy, our male lead, marrying him, and he can be the live-in they call it a live-in husband, where basically like he's married, but it's like that now they have an heir so that the other guy can't try to take the house. So they get married. It's not really a true marriage. It's more of a marriage of convenience. They kind of like each other, but it takes them so long to admit any feelings. And they don't, like nothing really happens between them for like a really long time but they do like each other. You can tell that even when they get married, they're like pretty like, they're very cute together. Like there's like a little like kind of thing and it's very cute. Anyways, so a lot of stuff happens and eventually, and this is the part, because again, this show is so long. So this is where I was talking to my friend about the show. Shout out Kenzie if you watch my video. I was trying to explain the plot and I was like, oh my gosh, this makes no sense. Because like it makes sense when you watch it, but then trying to explain it out of context, there's so much that happens that I was like, I can't remember. Anyway, so basically they spend a lot of time in this little village. Her sister, their 2 neighbors, and her man, her husband is cute. They're adorable. He's sexy. He's so hot, guys. He is so beautiful and tall and anyways, I really like him. I've come to really like the actor, and I really like her as well. Keep that in mind. I like the women as well. A lot of different stuff happens. There's a lot of random stuff. And I'm trying to remember what is the catalyst event. So I'm trying to remember. She is how does she get in contact with this guy? That's what I'm trying to remember. Okay, so there's a lot of bad guys in this show. There's two main bad guys though. They're brothers. And one of the brothers, they're trying to like take over this town, and they basically take the magistrate hostage, and they're threatening him. And I'm going to be so real, I do not remember why this is happening. I'm just going to try to explain it in the easiest way possible. They take his daughter, who has beef with Cheng Yu, which is funny because they end up kind of reconciling, which is funny. It's a whole separate thing. But anyways, she goes to her and she's like, can you please save my dad? Like, can you please come help my dad, whatever. And she's like, okay, sure. Like, I can help. For like, I think she was also going to, there was some reason why, again, I don't remember why. So she goes to help, and she holds this little punk, the little evil villain boy. She holds him at knife point. Unfortunately for her, I think he likes it. He's a freaking weirdo. And unfortunately, they have it's like an enemies to lovers if our main guy wasn't in it. Because he's like low-key obsessed with her, and he gets so close to her, and the way he looks at her, you guys, it is like unbelievable. She's having none of it. Keep in mind, there's no reciprocation on her part. She's like, ew, you're weird. And he's like, I like you. I want to kiss you. And I'm like, I wish you would. And it's like, it's so funny because I don't like him. He's a bad guy, but like, also, I do like him. Like, I can't lie. Like, he's so intriguing. The actor is only 20 years old, too, which is crazy. He's so much younger than the whole cast. And he was carrying that plot on his back as the villain. Like, he is crazy, psychopath, crazy. So they have this whole crazy confrontation, and he's, like, mad at her and kind of, like, wants her, but also wants to kill her. It's weird. They have a weird thing. I should say he has a weird thing with her. She's just over here like, you're a freak. Get away from me. So because of that confrontation, he then goes and basically sets her whole town on fire trying to find her, and kills a bunch of people. So many people die in this thing. It's a big tragic situation that happens. She loses her sister. Her sister doesn't die. She just she can't find her sister when she's able to get back there. Because she's over here fighting people. She's killing people. She's murdering people, whatever. She's being super slay and amazing. And a bunch of the townspeople die. It's actually it's a very sad scene because they're looking for her, and then he's asking each of them, and they won't give up her identity, and he kills them, and it's so sad. Anyways, of like where she was, because she wasn't there. She had like left, and then all this happens, and then she comes back, and she's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then she kills a bunch of people, and then I don't remember. I think she's just back at her town trying to like pick up the pieces. And during all of this, she thinks, now this is an important note, she thinks that her husband gets drafted into the military essentially. Because there's like this conscription that's going around. They're taking all the men. They're being like, you have to go fight in the army. She thinks he gets taken. Because at this point, she still doesn't know that he's this super high up boy. And he's like in charge of this huge army and all these things. And so she's trying to find him plus her sister for the next like 2 months after this like whole tragedy happens. And he's over here trying to command an army because that's why he left. But she doesn't know that because he doesn't even want to tell her. So anyways, so a bunch of stuff happens, and she ends up at the army like place where he is, and she finds him, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're alive. Because they also found her sister because her sister gotten kidnapped. It was a whole thing. They found her sister, and so it was like, oh, your sister's okay, blah, blah, blah. She finds her husband. She's so excited. Well, then they have this big fight, like, against the bad guys, and she finds out that her husband he lied. He's actually this super high up guy in this army, so she's super mad at him. Now, this is where the plot gets weird, and with their relationship specifically, because at this point, it makes sense that she's mad at him. He lied to her. It makes sense. And they go back and forth so many times, like throughout the next, like between now and like almost the end of the show, they go back and forth a lot. Like sometimes they're at odds, and it seems like she hates him, and she's like, we can't be together. I don't want you. You lied to me, whatever. But then there's another conversation where she's like, I'm not mad at you. And then he's like, okay, so like, why are we doing this then? Like, can we be together? Like, I'm in love with you. I want to marry you for real. And she's like, oh no, I can't. But then they're also okay, and they seem chill, and they're still like communicating and hanging out and having cute little moments together. So it's like kind of confusing. And then the big catalyst of the event is that she finds out that her dad is supposedly this traitor, and supposedly he's not. What am I trying to say? Spoiler. He's not actually, but he's this thought of traitor. And so then she's like, oh my gosh, my dad had something to do with the death of his dad. I can't be with him. If he finds out, he's going to hate me. He finds out, doesn't even care. Because again, he's a character with logic who's like, well, it's not her fault that her dad is this traitor, who's not even a traitor and might actually not be. And then he's like, I'm going to figure out if he is. I'm going to look into this, whatever. And so then they're like kind of okay. And they finally figured it out and they decide to be together. That's like the last massive hurdle that they face. Hold on, I have a text. Okay, I was just reading it. That's like the kind of the final hurdle they face, and then they're like together, and it's great. It took too long for them to get together. That's my biggest qualm about this show. I also hated the back and forth. I thought it was very confusing on where they stood. I did not want to be upset with Cheng Yu, but I was really struggling. I was really frustrated with her. And I think they made her look worse because the male lead was just kind of like, I don't even know how to say his name. I love how I've just not said his name because I don't know how to say it. They made him seem better than her in a certain context of like, he was just kind of like, I just want to marry you. And then she's like, no, 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 no. And it was like, her hesitations made sense, but it still was like, it made her look worse than him. And I wasn't a huge fan of that because I was like, I don't want to dislike her. Anyway, so eventually they get together. It's fine, whatever. Okay, so back to the villains now. So the young guy who's one of the villains, such a good actor. Like, so good. He just becomes such an interesting character, and like his like end and his demise when he dies is like really sad and weird, and like you kind of feel bad for him. The other villain, now this guy I have to talk about because he's a whole thing. He is crazy, psychotic, like he's insane. And he has this obsession with one of the female characters who's in the show, who is Cheng Yu's friend, and that she plays a big part in the plot as well. They at one point, so that girl, the friend, had saved the villain's life. He was drowning and she saved him. Well, he then proceeded to basically become completely obsessed with her, like possessed, kind of crazy about her. And she's like, no, thank you. And she became his concubine and had a kid by him. It's kind of crazy. And then she escaped and got away from him with her son. Well, he shows up again. And this is the part that I thought was sort of silly because, like, his character was supposed to have, like, a lot of, like, I think scars because he was in a fire when he was a kid. And so then he had, like, changed his face, which in all the flashbacks, he looked the same to me. So I was like, he doesn't look any different. And also, they never explain how he changed his face because when she first meets him, she doesn't know it's him. And she just feels really unsettled by the guy, but she doesn't know why she's, like, scared of him. And then she realizes that it's him later on. And supposedly he's supposed to look totally different. I personally didn't think he looked any different. But anyway, he's obsessed with her, wants her so bad. And he kidnaps her multiple times and she gets away multiple times, and they're in the most like confusing toxic relationship I've ever seen, because there is a part of her that I feel like has, I don't know if it's a sympathy or if it's an attraction or if it's just this like care about its fellow human being. But she also does hate him like so much, and because he's a horrible person. So it's just like there's moments, and even in his death scene, guys, it was like so sad and beautiful and like depressing and weird. Like her vibe with him was also weird. It was like, girl, you got to explain how you feel, because like this guy is like, it was just so interesting. They both acted their butts off, and he was such a good villain. And again, I say this, he was horrible, but they also have some of the best kissing scenes I've seen in quite a while, because there's a lot of times where like they're together and she's like kind of playing the game where she's like making out with him and stuff. She's either trying to get something from him or she's trying to get away or like whatever, but he's just like eating it up. He doesn't even care. He's like, you want to kill me, babe? Oh, I drink that poison. Give me that soup, I'll drink it up. You're going to poison me, babe? Oh, I don't even care. He's crazy. And unfortunately, they have very good chemistry as well, and they're very interesting together. There's this one scene. He's blindfolded, and she's kissing him because she's trying to get this. He has like this necklace around his neck, and she's trying to get it from him. But, girl, that scene, I said, why is he blindfolded? And she's like kissing his neck. Y'all, it was crazy. I was like, this is a crazy scene. This is not rated PG, girl. And again, nothing happened. Like, that's the funny thing that is like really funny about Chinese dramas. I don't know if it's all because I haven't watched enough to really have an opinion. There's no nudity. No one's naked. You're not seeing any skin. They're all fully clothed. And yet that scene where they're like, she's like kissing him is hotter than a lot of other like spicy scene. I was like that because that's chemistry. And their Chinese dramas are really good. This sounds weird, but like they're really good with lighting and like setting a mood and a situation. And they always use a lot of like, especially if it's a historical drama, they use a lot of like the curtains and like things that they have to like film through it. And that always looks more like alluring and sultry and sensual if like you film it through. I don't know how to explain it exactly. I feel like that doesn't make sense, but if you watch it, you'd see what I mean. But anyways, crazy scenes. And they have, again, crazy chemistry. Overall, though, good show. Hated the end. It ended so weird. So basically, they do a time jump, like 5 years. And keep in mind, now that the main couple is together, we haven't even seen them kiss since like a few episodes ago. I don't even get like a hug or an acknowledgement of like, oh my gosh, we're in love. We love each other so much. Like, here's a little kiss on the cheek, a kiss on the forehead. Girl, I would have taken anything. I would have taken a hug. I would have taken a handshake. Nothing happens between them towards the end of the show, which I hate when shows do that, where it's like, we finally got our characters together. Okay, now you're never going to see them kiss again. You're never going to see them be together again. You're actually just, now they're going to seem almost like more like friends. There's nothing between them. And it's like, what are you talking about? Anyways, so, the show ends in like a 5-year time jump, and they make a comment about her having 2 kids. We don't see them. We don't get to see that she has 2 children with this man. They just wrote right off into battle because like she got made general. It's a whole thing. Anyways. So that's what we see of them, which kind of sucked because like it was like when they reunited at the end of the show with their like neighbors and their friends and everyone was together. That was a cute scene, and I was glad we got that. But then it was weird to me that the end of the show, here's what the end of the show was. This is crazy. The end of the show there was this big catalyst event that happened 7 years prior that basically started the whole plot of the show. And that the end scene, the last like 15 minutes of the show was, if this situation had never happened, here's where each one person would be in the life. Why do I care? Girl, I don't care. It happened. You're completely like disregarding the fact that this whole situation did happen. And there was this one scene, I didn't like it. I mean, it was, to a certain extent, it was fun to see all the characters being friends and not being enemies and, like, being together and, like, everyone being in, like, a much better, healthier relationship with their other person. But it wasn't fun to watch because it was, like, I would have rather seen 15 minutes of my characters currently being together and not a hypothetical what if. It was weird. I don't understand why the show decided to do that in the last episode. I really think the last episode could have used so much more of Chang Yu and her husband. Like, I don't know why we didn't get more of them. We didn't also get it. There was this like second other couple that was in the show, not the toxic one, but a different one. We didn't even get an ending or conclusion to their relationship of being together either. It was like no one even talked about what happened to them. We didn't get to see them get married. We didn't get to see them even just kiss or hold hands. Like, we didn't see anything from them. That was disappointing. So anyways, amazing show, bad ending. Like, just a weird, just a strange end to an entire 40 episode show that had such a strong plot throughout the whole show. Like, obviously it took me a while because it was so long. But I really was never bored. Like, the show never really got boring. There was maybe a couple times, a few episodes where I was like, okay, this is a little taxing. But then I would, like, usually by, like, the next episode, it was pretty interesting. So, okay. I did not think I was going to talk for almost 45 minutes. And I have one final show to talk about, and then I'm done. Fight for My Way. Now, this show and me have history. Okay, so back when I was starting to watch K-dramas, I had seen this show and I'd seen parts of it and I watched a lot of clips. I never watched the whole show until a year ago, a couple months ago, and I finally was like, you know what the heck? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to finish this show. I've been watching clip after clip, after clip of like the good fun scenes of the main couple being together, but like, let me actually watch the show. It's a good show. I do like it. And then I was about, I think at like episode like 14, like I was almost done. There were 16 episodes. I had a couple episodes left and they took it off of the streaming service. I still don't know why. It was so random and it just came out of literally nowhere. And I was like, oh, so you hate me because you've taken this show that I like so much off of the streaming. Like, why would you do that to me? I didn't get to finish it. So then I kind of dropped the show, obviously, because I couldn't watch it. And it's not on any other streaming service. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm never finishing the show. Well, then I was on Viki. I was on Viki. Like, I don't even know, like a week, 2 weeks ago maybe, and I saw that it was back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they put it back on. And I was like, I've got to start this again, and I got to finish it. So I then finished the last like 3 episodes, like yesterday or the day before. I finally just finished the last couple episodes. Good show. Okay, so basically it's about these 4 friends. There were the two of the friends, what are their names? Son, hold on, we're gonna look it up. While I move it over, I'll talk about it. But Park Seo-joon and Kim Ji-won are they're like the main characters, right, of the show. And this is genuinely my favorite Park Seo-joon show I think I've ever seen him in. I've seen him in a handful of shows, and I think this is, for one, his like funniest role. I think he's so funny in this show. I also think he's so hot in this show, but I also think he's like, I don't know, he's got some great lines in this show and some great moments, and he's so cute, and him and Ji-won have they are such a good like chemistry. Like she's so fun. And I've seen her in a million dramas, and I always like her because she's so beautiful and she's funny. She's silly in this show too. So anyways, so it follows, okay, now I have their cast up so I can see it. It follows Go Dong-min, who is Park Seo-joon's character, Kim Ji-won, and her name is Cho Era. Her name is hard to say. And then An Jae-hyung is Kim Jumon. And then Song Hae-yoon is Baek Song-hee. Oh, it's Sol-hee. Baek Sol-hee. Anyways, so it follows these 4 characters. Juman and I have to look at her name. Sol-hee. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to say their names. They're a couple, and they have been dating for like 6 years. Okay, that's a big part of their characters. They have been together for a long time. He was not in the core 3 friend group, so the 2 girls and then Park Seo-joon's character. I'm just gonna say their real names. So Park Seo-joon's character and Kim Ji-won and Song Hae-yoon were besties growing up. Like, they've known each other since they were like 5 years old. And then An Jae-hyung came into the plot later, and then him and Hae-yoon started dating. Okay, at some point. And they've been together for a long time. So Park Seo-joon and Kim Ji-won have in the show, they're a friends to lovers. So it takes them a very long time. They've both liked each other. Like, she's liked him since like forever, but it's like gone back and forth, as she said multiple times, where she like, I liked you at this point in my life, and then I got over it and we're just buddies, and then I liked you again, and then whatever. And he kind of starts to see her in a different light later in the plot. And it's probably one of the better friends to lovers. And sometimes friends to lovers can be annoying when it's like, oh, the girls liked you the whole time, but it's like she went in up and down increments with him, and he just like took a while to see her in a different light. But then once he did, he was like, oh, I'm in love with you, I love you. And so they're really cute together. They have really good friends to lovers. And then An Jae-hyung and Song Hae-yoon have, I don't know, they're an interesting couple because I really like their relationship in the show. But then he doesn't cheat on her, but he does this weird thing where he like, there's like other girls, and he's like helps this other girl at their job because they work at the same place, and he helps this other girl a lot. And he comes to find out way later, after the 2 of them him and his girlfriend have broken up and are like not together anymore. He comes to find out that the reason that he was so concerned about that other girl, the reason that he was helping her out and getting into these kind of compromising situations because that girl liked him, was because she reminded him of his girlfriend. So it's like like a younger version of her. And it's like, it's so weird because it's like, you can't use a younger version of someone to be like, oh, it's not that I cheated on you, it's that she reminded me of you, but you're different now. And they have a weird relationship. They kind of patch it up towards the end of the show, and they maybe give it, like, they seemingly are back together. And it's funny because even in the show, the 2 other friends, like the 2 main characters, are like, you guys are crazy, like, you should not be dating him. So it's a weird, it's hard to explain, because even watching the show, I'm like, I'm not even quite sure what he did exactly, but like, he kind of just messed up, and it was just weird. And I was like, whatever. So they're a separate thing. And then there's a lot of other characters and whatever. But I just think Park Seo-joon and Kim Ji-won have such good chemistry in this show, and they're so cute together. He plays a boxer. He's so hot. She plays an announcer. It's like, they are just so cute together, and I want them to be reunited in a show now so bad, because I just want to see them acting. Because this is from 17, I think. So this is like almost 10 years old. Yeah, it came out in 2017. So this is 9 years ago. So they were both so young when they did this show. And I'm like, can y'all please do another show together? Because I need to see adults. Like, you guys as, like, true adults. Because they were both, like, I don't know, late 20s in this show. And now they're both, like, in their 30s. Although, how old is she? I think she's younger than him by, like, a decent amount. Because he's, like, 37. But I don't think she's 37. I think she's only, like, maybe she's older than I thought. We're going to find out. How old are you, babe? Oh, no, I don't. I want to see your age. Oh, she's 33. Okay, so she's only 33. So, 2020, 17, 9 years. 31. Wait, no. 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. She was only 24. And then I think he's 37. Or maybe he's 38. So she was only like 20. She was actually younger than their characters were supposed to be, like, in their late 20s. She was younger than her character was supposed to be. He's 37, so he's 4 years older than her. So he was like 28. He's such an interesting character too, like, or not character. Park Seo-joon is such an interesting actor because I think he's just so insanely, like, talented. I think he's just genuinely, like, one of my favorite actors, and I think he's also visually, like, one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen. But I just feel like he's been in such bad shows. Like, his shows have just been, they're either, like, really good like this show, or they're just really bad. And you could never take Park Seo-joon and say he doesn't have chemistry. He could have chemistry with The Rock. It doesn't matter what woman he's paired up with. He does an incredible job every time. But I just feel like the shows that he's been in have just not, I don't like. And he was in a lot of older K-dramas that had very specific vibes that I just don't like personally. And I just couldn't quite get with his character. Like, so he was in the show called Surely Tomorrow that came out last year. And it was so bad. And I sit here and I don't want to bash the female lead, but I have had trouble watching her in shows. She has been in one show that I really liked, and I thought she did an excellent job in. Everything else she's been in was so bad, and she was so annoying, and she was such an unlikable character. I'm like, are you guys trying to make her, like, the most unlikable person that's ever existed? Because that was how I felt in that show. And also, I don't know, I think they were just really, like, they just had really, like, they were very toxic, and it wasn't, like, a healthy relationship at all. Anyways, he's in a new show. That's right, he's gonna be in a new show with, who is he with? Taegu. Love of my life. I love that man so much. I've never seen Jo Hae-ju in anything, but she's gorgeous and beautiful, so I trust that she'll be really good. And then that other guy, I know him. He's only a cameo, though. The show's not coming out anytime soon, but anyways, he's in this new show with this other really sexy man that I love. Anyway, so Fight for My Way, great show. I didn't really even say what it's about. It's basically just about these, like I said, the 4 characters trying to find their path in life, trying to find their dream and, like, what they want to do, and they're fighting for their way to, like, fight for their dream, basically. And there's, like, yeah, a bunch of other stuff too that happens on the show, obviously, but I don't care to talk about that because it doesn't matter. Also, I did not think I would be sitting here talking for almost an hour. So if anyone gets through this whole video, this is the longest video I've ever made, because I think my second longest video was when I first made a video and I was talking about shows I didn't like. I was like, guys, I have a list, and I still have plenty of shows to add to that list, by the way. But I made a whole video talking about all the shows I didn't like, and it was very long because I typically have a lot more to say about shows I don't like than shows I do like, because I'll be like, oh my gosh, this show was so good, and then I have a show I don't like, and I'm like, here's why it was bad. Let me give you a 20-minute explanation of why I hate this show. Oh, anyways, okay, I think that's all I have to say. So right now, that's pretty much my most recently finished. Right now, I'm literally watching for Asian dramas, because I'm watching a Chinese drama too. I have one show that has about 3 episodes left, and then I have another show that I just started that's a new K-drama that has IU in it. She's doing great, of course. And that one is 12 episodes, and it's a releasing drama, so there's only 2 episodes out. I have to finish the first one. I have like a half an hour left to the first episode, and then I have the second episode to catch up on. And then there's some more shows that are coming out in April, obviously, but some of them are more towards the later end of April, beginning of, like, summertime. I have a lot of summer dramas on my list as well. So yeah, she's booked and busy. Listen, guys, you could never tell me that I don't have plenty of shows at my disposal. Because there's so many old shows I haven't watched too that I just never have committed to. So if I ever decide to like not watch any new shows, I can just go to the old shows and be like, well, let's just start over. So anyways. Oh my gosh, this is a really long video. Honestly, if you can watch this whole video and listen to me talk for an hour about different things, I respect you and I think that you're a champion. I think if you make it to the end of this video, you are truly like the elite in this world. Okay, that's all I have to say. Bye.